Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to In the Mind of Jax Taylor. We have a very special guest today, Ali Petitti. I said that right?
Yes.
Ali Petitti, host of the podcast Trying to Figure It Out. On her podcast, Ali discusses many topics from mental health to dating and relationships and everything in between. Welcome, Ali. For those of you who have never heard about you before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. My name is Ali, as you guys all now know. I am originally from New York. I've lived in Los Angeles for 10 years now, which is kind of insane to say. I moved out here ready to find myself. I felt like New York was just a bubble that I did not fit into, and I never saw myself living there. So I moved out to LA looking to find myself and just build my own life for myself, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, and I've been on your podcast. I was on your podcast during COVID.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. I think we did a good one. It was emotional. We dove deep.
That was one of my favorite episodes, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of just let it all out there from what I remember. We had a really good time. So, what do you think inspired? So your host mainly is on relationships and mental health.
Yeah.
What made you start that? Like, why did you want to go there?
I have always struggled with my mental health, honestly, and it was always something that I could put a name to. I always knew I had anxiety. I was kind of scared of everything and knew that I was different in that way because it was something I had since I was 5. My family knew me as the anxious girl. And when I actually, probably about a year before I met you, I had gone through a really rough experience. And for the first time ever, I experienced depression for the first time and PTSD, which was just a totally different ballgame for me. I felt like I really had my mental health honed in. I really knew what I could do to help myself and take care of myself. And when that happened, I was just like, I don't even know who I am anymore. These feelings are just so strong and big, and I felt like I needed a space to talk about it. And I called one of my mentors, and I was just like, what do? I feel like I need to talk about this stuff. I don't know if people care. I don't know if it's too dark to talk about, but I feel like I need to. And she was like, you should start a podcast. And I was like, I'm not a journalist. I don't know how to interview people. I don't even listen to podcasts. So I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, but I called my dad who works in entertainment and I was like, I think I'm going to try starting a podcast. And so I rented just a little studio on Melrose just to test out doing a solo episode, talked to a microphone and a camera for an hour and a half, just telling the story of the first time I ever felt anxiety and talking a little bit about myself. And now here I am 3 years later with a full podcast that I've had guests on. And
yeah, your podcast is awesome. Like when I went to I didn't know what to expect. I think you were probably the very first, maybe I don't remember, but very first like huge production podcast I've ever done. I was very overwhelmed. I walked in and she had like a huge crew. Like I think you had like between 5 to 10 people there.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is like a big deal.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fun. I really, really enjoyed your podcast. And it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I broke down in it and really, it was during COVID too, which was a very tough time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, your podcast it covers, like I said, mental health in a really raw and relatable way. And what do you think is something that people, I guess, are misunderstanding about anxiety and depression and all mental health? What do you think people are like not really? Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it, or not understanding about it.
I think all of us have our struggles. I think everybody has anxiety. Everyone has bouts of depression in life. And I think that not everyone wants to put a label on themselves. I think that labels can be scary and they can make you feel like, something you've tried so hard to avoid your whole life. And now all of a sudden you're being labeled as a person with anxiety disorder, or you're being labeled as a person with depression. And I think that can be super scary for people. And so what I try to do on my podcast and what I try to do for people in general is to talk about life experiences and how those have direct impacts on our mental health, and just take it story by story, situation by situation, and not make everything feel so big and permanent like labels tend to do. And so for me, I just try to talk about, this is something that happened to me. This is all the aftermath. This is how I feel. These are the ways that it's affected me and the ways that it's impacted my life, and try to share those stories, because I think people can understand what anxiety feels like, what depression feels like so much better if they have a direct story to relate it to. Or maybe you didn't even know you were anxious or depressed, but then you hear someone come on my podcast and talk about losing a family member, or going through their parents' divorce, or, going through some sort of traumatic situation. You hear their story, and then you're able to really realize the things that you might be going through as well.
I think right now we're primarily focused in my life is on relationships and divorce and things like that. Like I know you are in a relationship, correct? Mm-hmm. How long have you been in a relationship for?
A little over 3 years.
A little over 3 years. And do you think men's mental health is worse in today, real time? Do you think men's mental health is worse than women's? Do you think it's fairly similar? Do you think men go through different things in a relationship than women do? Like, okay, for instance, so you are in a relationship and they go through their ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And I'm always now that I'm going through divorce, and now I'm kind of late in this game. I should have done this while I was married, but now I'm diving back into where it went wrong. Mm-hmm. And do you, in your relationship, if you sense like something is not going in the right direction, you guys tend to be arguing a little bit more, maybe you're not on the same page, do you guys say, okay, listen, something's not going right here? Do you sit each other down and say, how can we fix this? Or do you guys sweep it under the rug?
I would say we talk about it. I think maybe that's a generational difference, especially,
Is he older?
No, I'm 27, he's 28. So we're younger, and I feel like our generation is so vocal about these things, and we've seen so many people in the older generations go through so much. I personally watched my parents go through it. I've seen what it's like to be, watching people not communicate. And so for me, I can't even hide it if I want to. And that's something, sometimes I'm not super proud of. Sometimes I just get angry when I'm actually sad. And I don't say I'm sad. I get angry, and then I become bitchy, and then I become mean. And I don't like that about myself.
Yeah.
But I think those are all like the growing pains of being in a relationship. So for me, in my current relationship, I would say I'm super grateful that my boyfriend is super self-aware. He's one of the most well-spoken and really aware of how he feels. And sometimes we definitely react to things differently. He might be the one to wait a few hours to say how he feels and really process it, whereas I'm the one that's like, this is how I feel, and I just kind of word vomit. But we definitely talk things through, and I think on that sense we're very equal. And I think that is helping us get to a place where, when we do get married, if we do get married, that would be a strength of ours. Right.
Do you allow each other to vent? Like, do you, and you know what, sometimes I like to come home and I want to vent. I know the right answer. Like, I know what I should have done. If there was an incident and I was like, man, I should have done this. But sometimes I want to come home and just vent without the person responding. Like, I know what's right, but just listen.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that? Are you allowed to come home and be like, listen, I had this going on today, this going on. And he can just sit there and be like, okay. I won't tell you what I think because I know you're venting. Mm-hmm. But I found that I did that, and I felt like I would try to correct the problem. And the last thing she wanted was for me to correct the problem. She just wanted me to listen.
Yeah.
And I'm just the type of person like, well, why didn't you just do this? You know? And then you're like, I know what to fucking do. I just, you know.
It's so hard. Honestly, that is so hard. I try to listen. Sometimes we're both Aries, and we're both like fiery Aries. And like, I have strong opinions. So sometimes I do have to keep my mouth shut and just be like, just listen, just listen. But I think typically when we do have a conversation like that, it starts out just needing a space to vent. And then within the next 30 minutes, then it's like, okay, what do you have to say? You know what I mean? Like it kind of unfolds. But I do think I think that's hard in any relationship, honestly. We all have, when you hear the person you love venting about something, of course, your first instinct is to just give them advice and say a million different things to try and help them feel better.
I have really high highs and really, really low lows. Like, there's no in the middle with me. And I think that was very detrimental to my relationship. I didn't seek help when I should have, when she told me to. I didn't want to hear it. And men, I believe, and I'm not sure if your boyfriend's like this or not, are very stubborn. And I'm a very stubborn human being. I'm not wrong. She's wrong, you know, and I'm doing things the way, how can I be, you know, I never wanted to take any accountability for my actions because, like I said, I'm older. I know more than you. You don't know anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had that mentality because she was a lot younger than me, and I felt sometimes I had what's that? Superior complex? What's the word I'm looking
Superiority
for?
complex.
Superiority, you know? And I thought, okay, I'm the man of the family. And I felt like, and a lot of times I was the one that was completely wrong, and I just didn't want to see it. And instead of, I guess this leads me into the next thing. What do you think about people in relationships that aren't married going to seek therapy? Do you think that's a good sign?
I'm honestly all for it. I feel like
relationship therapy. Yeah,
I'm all for it. I think if you can do it before things get bad, when things do get bad, things are going to get bad at some point in every relationship. It's so inevitable. And I feel like if you can find that strength to go seek help, I think this is like the stigma, again, that still exists on mental health. I think we've made a lot of progress, but I also think there's still a lot of judgment. And, you know, if you're in a relationship before you even get married and you have to go seek couples therapy, you're thinking to yourself, what are we doing here?
I was just going to say,
a good thing?
Is that a red flag? If you're about to get married and yet you're seeking a lot of therapy before you get married, is that something you're going to be like, shit, if we're doing this and we're not even married yet, is this...
Do you want to ask me, since I've been married for 20 years?
I'm sorry. Lori's been married for 20 years.
I know, you never introduced me, but
I did. Lori's here, by the way, everybody. Everybody loves Lori.
I pop on. Not everybody loves Lori. But
I'm sorry. I didn't know what you wanted to say about your relationship. I don't want to
I don't want to speak on my relationship, but I have been married for 20 years, and I think that therapy is very important, absolutely, but I think getting married and choosing the partner you want to spend the rest of your life with is the biggest decision you will make in your entire life. And it needs to be the most well thought out decision of your entire life and smartest decision you make of your entire life. And I think that if you're in therapy for large red flags, and one of them being, let's say, your communication, because I think communication is the utmost important thing in a relationship. And if you don't have that to begin with, it's only going to deteriorate, in my opinion. So I think that, I think it depends, right? If you're dating for a year and you already have so many issues and you need to go to therapy prior to getting married, I think you need to take a step back and say to yourself, why are we getting married? You know, yes, there will be problems with everyone in a relationship, but I think it depends on the level of what that problem is.
Yeah. And going back and trying to think about where did the many, many things go wrong in my marriage? The communication was bad. She would always tell me, you know, I can't talk to you. And then when someone says, that person that you love says, I can't talk to you, that hurts. Like, she can't open up and tell me things, which I don't, you know, I never knew that. And it would hurt me. And then we would walk on eggshells. I'm like, okay, well, I can't talk to her, because sometimes I feel like I would tell her things and instead of having a conversation about it, it would turn into an argument or anger. So therefore, and it went both ways. It would go both ways for her doing it to me and me to her. And we could never have conversations that were really important in our relationship / marriage that we needed to have. And we just swept it under the rug. And next thing you know, we're filing for divorce, and my buddies went through the same thing. I got other friends, that went through the same things that we just didn't talk. We swept things under the rug.
There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on Britbox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on Britbox.
And if you talk to a lot of people that get divorces, that's what they do. They don't communicate, because they're afraid. I'm not going to lie to you. I was afraid. I was afraid to talk to Brittany about a lot of things, not only because her reactions, but as a man, I felt very vulnerable and weak. And I'm a very alpha male. I mean, you can't get any more alpha than me. And I just don't like to ask for help. Until recently, until my divorce, until getting sober and going to AA and going to therapy and reaching out and be like, I can't do this anymore.
I think when you said you sweep things under the rug, do you think that just
I call it Febrezing the situation.
Right.
Febreze doesn't clean shit.
So can I ask you a question? And I think this is so interesting. Do you think that the style in how you communicate and, you could have some of the largest fights, say some of the worst things, and then it's just the next day or the next hour, it's completely fine. Do you think that stems from you being on reality TV for so long? Because it's not just in a marriage, it's with friendships. You guys will have the craziest explosive things happen and say the worst possible things about each other. And then the next day or the next week, you're out for dinner.
An hour later.
Yeah.
Brittany and I would have these blow-ups, huge blow-ups that should last a few days, right? And then we'll do it. And then 45 minutes later, should we go get some food? What do you want to do? We don't really fix the problem.
Yeah.
We don't. And we just yell and scream. And it would start from me. I was doing the yelling and the screaming because I don't know how to communicate well. I don't. I still don't. And I don't know how to have conversations without escalating my voice. I mean, I even do it to Lori. And now people are just kind of used to it, and I just feel like I can't express what I'm trying to say if I don't raise my voice. I think women do take a little bit longer to get over certain things because
I think you need to stop saying women and women. Allie, can you back us here?
Do you think women are a little bit more emotional when it comes to arguing and fighting in a relationship? Do you think men? Okay, first of all, I'm sorry for saying that. That's not the way I worded it. I wanted to say, do you think in a relationship when men and women get in an argument, do you think women hold on to it a little longer than men do? That's the right way to say it.
What if we take it more to your relationship? Let's say you're talking about the fact that you are able to brush something under the rug and keep going. So that's you in your relationship. Maybe Brittany can't do that. Maybe Brittany is, more like me, where when I'm feeling something, I do fester on it. I do feel it for a few days. It takes me a few days to get over. One thing that someone says to me that really hurts my feelings could take me a week to really let go of it or really move on from it. So
But for instance, I'm going to cut you off. So if that happened in your relationship, do you need to tell your significant other, listen, what you said really, really bothered me. I'm going to need a minute. I'm going to need a beat. Instead of me, I don't know that. I can't read your mind.
Yeah.
And so if I knew that going in, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to walk the dog. I'm going to go take my son. We're going to go somewhere, take a breather. Instead of just staying there, being in that heated moment, and we just continue on instead of letting things go. Do you do that? Because I didn't do that.
I I tend to make it clear that I'm not over it right away.
Right.
But I also don't think I always know what I need after that. I think that's where I struggle is like, if I'm still festering on something, my significant other apologized, I'm still upset about it. They're like, well, I apologized. When can we move on? And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, ooh, I don't really know what I need in this moment. It's hard for me to just instantly move on, but I do accept the apology and I'm like trying to move on. But I think for you, and I guess this is a question I have for you, when you do brush all those emotions under the rug, is there ever a time where you sit and remove, your, don't take this the wrong way, but you remove your masculinity, you remove all those notions, and you just sit there and you're like, that doesn't make me feel good?
No, I don't. I harbor it. And because again, it's a sign of weakness for me. And I'm just learning this year, maybe last year and a half, to be emotional and to let my guard down and be like, I surrender. Like I've been learning to surrender a lot with a lot of things, my sobriety, with my anger, my mental health, my bipolar. Like I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I want to, but I just can't. So I'm learning to talk about it. And hence the reason why I have this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm learning to get it out and ask people and say, hey, listen, where am I going wrong in these situations? Because clearly, I'm messing a lot of things up. My marriage, my friendships with my family, my sister, my friends. And I'm just not comfortable like talking about my feelings.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't see it my way, then you're wrong. Like if you don't understand why I'm upset, if you don't understand, like when I can't get my point across why I'm angry, then it bothers me.
I mean, the self-awareness is a really big step, to be honest. Like the fact that you're able to look someone in the eyes and tell them that and do it on a podcast and admit all those things about yourself is honestly not many people admit to those things. So I would give yourself grace for even being able to admit that that's genuinely how you feel.
Yeah. Well, at this point in my life, I'm going to be 46 years old. I feel like, why the hell not at this point? Like, what am I trying to hide anymore? Like, I mean, my world and my life is all out there. So, I'm almost like a science experiment at this point, like I feel like, what can I do to fix these issues? Because I've been dealing with this my whole life.
Yeah.
No one's ever called me on it. And I've been getting away with it for so long that no one's ever said, okay, enough. We're not dealing with this anymore. So now it's kind of like, oh shit, maybe I do need to fix myself. Maybe I am wrong here,
Have you watched Vanderpump Rules?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
I've seen Jack since I was like 15 years old.
You're a baby.
I am a baby.
Jax has always been the most self-aware person, and Jax has always admitted to exactly who he is. And that hasn't changed. And I've had these conversations with you, Jax, where being incredibly self-aware is amazing, but you need to actually do things to change after that. Once you know that these are your issues and this is how you behave and it's wrong, you need to actually take the steps to make changes.
But I have so many things that are wrong with me. It's not like I have one little thing, I just got to fix this. I have this, and this. So now when I get in conversations with people, I'm so in my head, I'm not listening to what they have to say because I'm trying to think, okay, am I being a narcissist here? Am I love bombing? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? I have all this going on in my head. So I'm trying to be like, okay, did I do that right? I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying because I'm so in my head about not trying to come off as an asshole or conceited or this and that I don't know how to not be that person.
Well, when have you ever tried to change, not for a relationship or because you were in a situation? I feel like watching you on the show my whole life and seeing every situation you've been in, a lot of your self-growth has been related to saving a relationship or, saving a friendship. And it's always been pertaining to like fostering a relationship with somebody else. This is the first time in your life that you've ever been seeking help, being more emotional, trying to fix things about you that don't make you feel good. And you're not doing it like you are getting divorced. That part of your life is being pushed aside. Like that's no longer what you're trying to fix yourself for. You're not fixing yourself for someone else. Of course, you want to be the best father and you want to co-parent in the best way possible. But what you're doing for yourself right now, this is the first time, at least from my outside opinion and perspective, no one has really ever seen Jax try to work on himself for himself.
Right.
Ever.
That's true. And just getting back to you, like, what do you do to protect your mental health? I mean, are there some things that you do to calm your anxiety if you find yourself going through a dark path what do you do that works for you?
It honestly depends. Every day is different. Like if I'm having a panic attack, before the panic attack happens, I have triggers and I can tell when it's starting. And so I'll try to stop it from going full force. Once it goes full force, I'm kind of screwed. And then my day can pretty much be ruined from that point on. But, I've really spent a lot of time in therapy and figured out what my triggers are, what it feels like when something is about to come on. And so I typically try different modalities to help myself naturally. I have been on and off of SSRIs throughout my life. I currently am off of them. I tried Prozac recently, but it wasn't.
Sorry, what's
good
the SSRI?
They're antidepressants.
Antidepressants, okay.
So I took Lexapro for 2.5 years, and I had a pretty good experience on it, but it started not making me feel great, so I went off. And then I've kind of been raw dogging life lately.
And that's a huge thing right now, too. That's actually, when you ask somebody that they're raw dogging life and actually going through each day on nothing, that is impressive. That is impressive. I mean, I'm not raw dogging. I'm on medication right now for my bipolar disorder. But people that are not on anything, they're not drinking, they're not on any pills, and they're just going through life, who the fuck does that? Like, you're on nothing?
No,
it's like not normal.
Yeah, no,
everybody's on something.
Everyone's on something. When I have a panic attack and it's so crippling, I feel like I'm dying.
I've had two. I had one at my sister's, which was, we were ready to get on a boat, and I just couldn't breathe and I couldn't move. And then I was at Portobello's on Burbank, and I was eating, and I was sitting there, and I had to call a friend to come get me. I had a full-on panic attack, like I couldn't move. And I was calling my friends, and then I ended up calling Tom Schwartz, and he, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm like, I'm having a panic attack right now. I can't move. Please come and get me. He's like, I can't come and get you, but come to my house if you can get a ride. I called another friend. She came and got me, dropped me off. He's like, here's a Xanax. Take half a Xanax and a beer. You'll be fine. So I gave me half a Xanax and I had a beer, and I was totally fine after that. But that panic attack, like, I always heard about them, and then I was like, man, that sounds awful. Like, how did that happen? And then you get one. It's like you can't move.
Yeah.
Like, I was sitting in the Portobello's. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's in Burbank. It's this like deli, and it's always busy, and there's stuff going on. And I'm just sitting in a chair, and I just couldn't find my breath, and I just couldn't move. And I feel like people were staring at me, and I didn't know what to do. It's the worst fucking feeling.
It's horrible. So for context, I average like a panic attack a week.
Oh.
I have panic disorder, and that's been like my biggest struggle in life. And it is the most horrible feeling in the world. And for me, I think people don't understand until they have one, but panic attacks are truly the most horrible thing. It is, you feel like and I've had them so many times, that every single time I get one, I still think it's not a panic attack for the first 30 minutes. For the first 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm having a stroke. I'm about to have a seizure. I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Something is physically wrong with me. And a lot of my anxiety stems around health stuff. So once I feel one thing in my body that doesn't feel normal, that's when I spiral. And honestly, this is why I don't do drugs. I'm very sensitive to medications. Anything that alters my body chemistry, even just a little bit, sets me up for a panic attack. Because if I feel outside of what I'm used to feeling, that's when I spiral.
I relate so much to you. I'm a hypochondriac. I've never tried anything.
I tried to get you to smoke weed, and you were like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "Just try it. It'll relax you a little bit. Just try it. It's coming from the ground."
And I was like,
"But
are you going to watch me? Are you going to? Do you have your car in case you need to drive me to the nearest hospital?"
I know it's you are like that for sure. I had to, but I think weed really helps. It helps me anyway. So do you drink at all?
I drink.
Yeah.
Not as much as I did probably 2 years ago, but I do drink.
Yeah.
I like wine.
Do you think the struggles are different for people your age, are a lot different than from people that are my age?
I don't think they're any different. I just think we are more comfortable acknowledging them, talking about them, and we have so much information now that we are constantly diagnosing ourselves, seeing things that we're like, oh, I feel that too. So I think for us, it's like, whereas for you, finding out you have all these things, and like you just said, you're like, I have all these things, like, and I don't know which one is coming out. Like,
right.
That's very overwhelming. Whereas my generation, we've been seeing all this for so long. It's all over TikTok. It's all over podcasts. There's people talking about it now.
Are people being influenced by social media and be like, oh my God, I have that. I should take a pill for that. Like, is it getting to that point where people think I should, you're having a bad day. Maybe I'm this just because you had a bad day. I feel like people are just kind of taking stuff and saying that they're self-diagnosing themselves.
It's real.
I remember when the one with the 1 year I did go to college, I took Adderall. It was a time release thing, and it changed my life. Like, I just wanted to pay attention. But I remember when that drug came out, Adderall. It was a big, big deal, but I feel like now people just take it for recreation.
Adderall scares me. I started taking Vyvanse when I was in 8th grade because I had not behavioral. I was a slower learner. I could barely read, and I had a lot of reading comprehension issues. So
in what grade?
In 8th grade.
Okay.
So I was young. I was probably, 14, 13, before high school. And I was on Vyvanse at a very young age. And I took it all throughout high school. And I remember being in high school, and my friends would be like, can I have some of that for the paper that we're writing? That sounds really nice.
What did it do? Calm you down?
No. Oh, my God.
Vyvanse is a stimulant.
You take it, and it
makes you wait. Oh, so it's the other way. So it's kind of
the opposite. It's like an upper.
Yeah.
It's like Adderall.
So it's Adderall. So it's kind of like
basically Adderall, but longer. So Adderall is like short release. So you can be on Adderall for like 4 hours, then it can wear off. Vyvanse is long lasting. It lasts you the whole day.
Right. I dabbled with Adderall.
The come downs are the worst.
I dabbled with Adderall in my day too, and I actually just recently talked about that to my friend. I was like, because I'm completely sober on everything except for marijuana. I do smoke marijuana, but I was asking the other day. I'm like, I was a little slow that day. I was like, man, if I take Adderall, is that against my sobriety? He's like, yes, you can't take Adderall at all. And I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know about that. So I guess for people that are your age, what's one piece of advice that you can give someone who feels like they're just really trying to hold it all together? Because you're in your 20s, right? And there's people, especially people in LA, and they're trying to figure it out. You're in your 20s. You're not sure where you are in your relationship. You're not sure if you're in the right place with your job. You're constantly stressed out because this world is just fucking hard, and social media makes it very, very small, and you're reading all these things. You should be here in life, and you should be doing this, and I'm not here. What do you suggest?
Honestly, when I first met you, I was in my earlier 20s. Now I'm in my later 20s, and I feel like just being in my 20s in general, I've learned so much, and I'm also like, I keep thinking I'm way older than I am. So I think my advice to people my age or in their 20s is just to remember that you are not as old as you think you are. You have so much life left, and people in their 20s go through it. Like when you're in your late 20s, that's when life really changes, and you're trying to figure things out. You're figuring out, should I be saving money? Is everyone else saving money? Should I be going out still? Should I be drinking? Am I drinking too much? Am I in the right relationship? Yeah, that is a big one.
We live in LA. It's so hard to save money here.
In LA, it's so hard to save money, but I have a lot of friends. I'm an old soul. Feel like I'm 55 years old inside a 27-year-old body, but I really feel like I have a lot of friends who are in their late 30s, which I'm super grateful for because they constantly remind me that I'm exactly where I should be at 27. And I guess that's my advice for people my age is just remember that you're exactly where you should be. And if you don't like where you are, keep working to change your situation, and don't feel like this is the most important year of your life. Like, your timelines for things will constantly change. You don't have to get married before you're 30. You don't have to have a kid before you're 30. You don't have to be rich. We're seeing so many people make so much money now because of social media. So people who are 21 years old are multimillionaires because they popped off on TikTok, and now they're influencers and they're making a fortune. And so we're comparing ourselves to all these people, and it's overwhelming.
It really, really is. And a lot of people like myself are living between their ears, and that's a really, really tough.
I love that we get to see certain women, even like Kourtney Kardashian. She wanted that baby with Travis Barker. I think she was 44 years old. Look at Kristen Doty.
Yeah.
Like she's older and she waited. She didn't settle. She's so happy. She's a beautiful child. Like, I think that's great advice to give people in their 20s because I think people look around and they see what everyone else is doing. And you don't need a rush to get married or have that child. You need it needs to be right.
Mm-hmm. And give yourself grace. Just be gentle with yourself.
I agree. All right, now let's get into some fun topics. We got into the mental health. Let's get into the mind of Jax. I got two beautiful women here that can tell me a little bit about my questions on relationships, and a lot of people out there have these same questions. So we're going to get into it. All right. Do you believe in the right person but the wrong time? The right person but the wrong time. Is that a thing?
It's definitely a thing. I don't think I've experienced it yet in my life. Well, not yet. I'm in a relationship, so I don't feel that I've experienced that, but I do believe in that.
You think, man, I wish I would have met this guy later in life or earlier in life, or do you? Yeah, that's basically.
For me, I'm like, I met my person at the perfect time
Right.
in life because I'm chilling.
Right.
But I think that I see people who it is that, and I think that I don't know. It's hard. I guess I'm too young, but I guess my question is for you.
Yeah.
I'll ask it back to you. Do you believe in that? Do you believe that there's 2 years down the line after all this healing that you're doing right now where you could be, with Brittany, or could you see yourself, could things be different had you done what you're doing now then?
I think a lot has to do with my job and where I live. I think things would have been different if I didn't live here. I think relationships in me.
You should never be in one.
I don't know about that. But I'm definitely never going to get married again. That's for sure never going to happen. And I'm also not going to have any more kids.
You think you could be in a relationship with somebody?
I don't want to say never. I'm not ready. I don't think I'm 100% ready to be in one right now not because I'm like.
You're capable of being with one person. In a relationship.
Probably not right now. I don't mind hanging out with people. Does that make a difference? What do you call somebody? All right. Oh God, I'm trying to get myself. So if I'm not in a relationship, but I enjoy people's company, is that okay? Does that make sense?
But we're talking about multiple people.
Do you get jealous?
I think I do get a little jealous. What do you think?
I think that Jax needs the control for the other person. So he will not have the same standards for himself that he'd expect somebody else to have. So I think, and this shows me that I think you still have a lot of work to do, because I think it will be very. It will be a release for yourself once you're able to accept, I think, who you naturally are. And there's so many people are like that, and they own who they are. Not everyone is capable to be in a monogamous relationship. And I think we're seeing more and more of that, right?
I 100% agree. I'm just trying to take out the word never, because just using that word never is so absolute. Who knows where I'm going to be 5 years down or 10 years down.
I think he would want to make sure that the person he's quote unquote, like he says, hanging out with isn't with any other person but him. Mm-hmm. But that's not the same on his end. Do you know what I mean?
I just feel like you haven't met the right. I don't know. I just feel like there's something out there that would change that for you.
I just don't know if there's ever the right.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, Lori
I'm like
disagrees.
the optimist over here.
He's going to regret having me on today's
No,
podcast.
I don't regret it at all. I love having you guys. I love hearing the hard truth. I think that's a true friend, is people are going to tell you what you don't want to hear. I think my friends are just kind of who just go, yeah, and agree with you all day. That's not a true friend.
Yeah, no, I don't think he should be with anybody just a set. No, absolutely not. And I think anybody.
Let me ask you this: what if you're hanging out with somebody and you say,
cut people off?
I'm so sorry, but
I was finishing my thought.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I think that at this point, any woman that has just seen, obviously it's everywhere. You could watch hundreds of episodes on him, and no, I think any woman that believes that he will change for them that's on them.
That's why I feel like he
needs to. Jax is who he is.
Yeah, 100%. I need to, and I know that. What do you say? Progress, not perfection, right? And I think if I can make a little bit of
that was Tom Schwartz's line.
Yeah, that was his line, and that's what he said. What did he say? Progress, not perfection. And then, do you think? Okay, taking another step. What if you're completely honest with the person? You meet somebody, you're like, I like hanging out with this person, but I know what my issues. If you're completely honest with them and say, hey, listen, I have A, B, C, all these things wrong with me, and I don't think that I'm going to be 100% faithful, and you say that up front, is that a problem?
I think it's not about saying, I don't think I'll be faithful. It's saying, I love hanging out with you. I think you're great, but I'm going to be with other people. I'm not in a place.
Just not looking for
I'm just not
serious.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm not looking to be with one person.
If you say this to this person and they continue to want to hang out with you, that's on them. correct?
Yeah, as long as you're fully honest. But are you fully honest?
But the question, too, is, like, how much are you investing in that person? Like, are you love bombing them? Are you making them think that maybe they're going to be the one to change you? Because if you tell them that up front, but as a girl who's been in some shitty relationships, I always have been the person who thought I could change someone. And
I think girls like that.
And this is the first time I'm in a relationship where I don't feel that way.
That's nice.
So for me, looking back at my past relationships where I did feel that I had to do that, I don't know.
So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and these two women were talking about women have a tendency to find men that they want to fix.
Well, it's an individual thing. And I think it also, it varies with age, right? I think maybe when you're younger and you're not as experienced, but when you're older, maybe in your 30s and 40s, no, women want... I'd say most women want a partner, not a project. We're not here wanting to fix a man.
I was just listening to a few podcasts on these women podcasts, and they were talking about it, and they were just saying a lot of women. I'm just going off of what women say. Please don't crucify me.
He looks really scared right now.
I just don't crucify me because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm not trying to be sexist at all. I'm just going off of what women say. That a lot of women like a project, like they want to.
I don't know what podcast you're listening to.
I'm sorry, do you not agree with that?
I think it's not about women wanting a project. Like, I could tell you 5 of my friends who are gay males who also date men that aren't the right man for them, and they think they can change them or fix them or make them into the person that they're looking for, looking for a monogamous relationship, and the man is not interested. And it exists outside of man or woman. Yeah. But I do think... I'll speak from my own experience. When I've been in relationships before, I have done a lot of work on myself because I was a very insecure person. I'm a people pleaser. I did like to fix people. I did think that, I could change someone into the person that I wanted them to be. And I did that because I clearly didn't love myself enough. Like, I didn't believe that I deserved more than that in that time. And I believed that I could manipulate or create something into something it wasn't. And I knew from the beginning. The cards were shown at the beginning. Like you said, you show your cards up front, and then people still try to change you or try to ask for different things from you when you were straight up. And so, yeah, I think if you were to continue on this journey you're on right now, not that this is unsolicited advice, but if you were to continue on this journey you're on right now and really try to peel back the layers of, it not being okay for you to be emotional, it not being okay for you to feel certain things, and you can still be the man you want to be. You can still be, you can still be an alpha male, but you can be in touch with your emotions and all the things that you want to be. You can still be both. And I think if you do that, you would benefit so much. Even if you never want to be in a serious relationship again, you would allow space for yourself because the emotions are there. They're definitely in there. So I think if you give yourself time and really try and tap into those emotions without having judgment on yourself for feeling certain things, I think that it would change so much for you.
I've talked about this earlier. I was anti-therapy, anti-AA, and now I love it. I love it. Like I'm excited when it's my turn to talk. I can't wait for it to tell the story. I can be so honest because everybody in here is being honest, and it's just so refreshing to be able to be like, it's like such a weight lifted off your shoulders. I really, really enjoy going to AA. I started off going 1 time a week, and now I'm in there 3 times a week, and everybody knows my name now, and I bring the cookies, and it's fun. I really, really enjoy it. But we'll hop off this topic. So, okay, when you go on a date, the first time you hang out with somebody and they bring up their ex and how toxic they were, that is an ick, correct? Yeah. Do you think that's an ick? So we're on a date, right? And I'm going to you bring up your ex and you tell them, like, God, this person was awful. They did this, they did that. That is an ick, correct?
Yeah, I don't know that that's first date conversation.
Right.
I don't know if it's an ick. You never know what someone's going through. So it's like if someone's going through it and they just like don't know what to do and they're word vomiting about an ex, that's one thing. But I feel like if you want the person you're going on that date with to be there for you, you find the right time to talk to them about your ex in a way that you're suggesting to your new person that you might need their support. But I don't think it's a first date conversation.
When do you talk about your ex and if you first started dating somebody?
Depends on the context. Like if we're on a date and we're just having a conversation and then I'm like, so I want to talk about my ex, like that would be really weird.
Well,
like it depends how it comes up.
Something that was brought up, you're saying, oh, maybe something that triggered you, you'd be like, oh, my ex did that. He was so toxic. Like Like, is that like, okay, why would you be?
I wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something like, even if I'd probably have that exact thought. I'd probably be like, oh, yep, I had like whatever you said that made me think of my ex. I'd probably then be like, okay.
Okay. My next question is sleeping with somebody on the first date. What do you think of that? Is that bad?
No.
I don't think so.
Not bad. Personal decision.
It's a personal decision, and if you both made the decision to do it, nobody's right. I don't think anybody's wrong on that, right?
I don't think I don't think there is a right or wrong. I think it's obviously both people have to be down. And I think it's hard because I do think if you have sex the first night, maybe then it sets up a vibe that you're not looking for something serious, but you could be looking for something serious and still have sex the first night. Everyone's different, but I do think that might change the perspective of. I dated a guy who I can't believe I'm saying this, but we did sleep together the first time we hung out, and he held it against me the whole time we dated as reasons why he didn't trust me, as reasons why I, was a whore or not great, and that was horrible.
But he did it too, so he's a whore. If he's going to call you one, you're both the same, right?
I mean,
I'm not saying you're a whore. No. That's the worst thing to say. But like, he can't judge you.
Well, obviously, he sees women to a different standard.
This was toxic,
which isn't
make that
right.
Very clear. I didn't use the word.
No. I don't think you did.
He can't judge you if he's doing it too.
That was.
You're both in the same boat, right? Okay, my next one. Liking two people at once. How do you tell the other person that you don't want to be with them?
I'm learning this on Love Island. I have no idea. I have never really dated two people at once. Are you looking for advice?
No,
that was not on my script.
No, I got some other questions like that I want to know, and I know the dating world that people are out there. There's people that are dating. They're like, I'm dating a couple guys at once. Okay, 2, 3, whatever.
I don't know who you're talking to. Are you watching The Bachelor?
No, I'm not watching The Bachelor. And I'm not watching Love Island. I'm probably the only one that's not watching it. But a little subtle plug here: we are putting the Love Island at Jax's at the bar. It's been playing every day.
But I think most guys, and you say this, Jax, like if the guy is more into one of the girl, like there's a roster, right? So they typically ghost. I don't think most men are.
But women are a little bit more honest when it comes to that. I feel like women are going to be like, listen, they're not going to play that game. They don't do most women don't do the roster thing. They want a relationship. So do you think it's
again, you're generalizing. Most women want a relationship. Would you say that?
No, I'm trying to be honest. Like women are more honest than men when it comes to that. They're more honest and they'll be more upfront about it, whereas men will try to hide it.
Allie was shaking her head saying no.
I just don't have, I guess for me, I genuinely don't frame conversations from the perspective of like woman or man.
I know, and I'm trying not to do that.
I know what you mean.
I'm just trying to like, men are for Mars, women are for Venus kind of thing. It's the old book. We do things differently. And I feel like men will try to, put it for me, for instance. Men will try to get away with it as long as they can, where I feel like a woman would be more honest about it and be like, okay, I need to let this man know that I like this person more than this person. Where men will try to get away with it.
I feel like depending on the situation, let's say you're like starting to date someone, like you right now are starting to date a woman, and
no, wait a minute, what? No. Nobody's dating here.
Okay, but let's just say you were. This is hypothetical. You're starting to date someone, and she's not, set on dating just you. She's got a few people. I don't think she's required to tell you that from the get. So I feel like she might be dating you. She might still have another date tomorrow night. Yeah. Same way you might or probably have a date another night as well. And so I feel like it doesn't have to be disclosed until it's ready to take the next steps, until that person, is ready. And then it's up to them to say to the other person they're seeing, hey, I met someone else and I'm just not really that interested.
Okay, those are my questions for today. Let's get a little bit into, what's been going on the last week with, can we bring up a little Valley stuff that's very vague. So my question is for a lot of people out there, because this has been going around about me, I have a fake Instagram. Well, not anymore because everybody knows it, but I have a fake Instagram, and it's not Frank Dramon. People, let's get this clear. I know I spelled it wrong. It's Frank Drebin. I'm a huge Naked Gun fan, and it was Leslie Nielsen's character, and I made an idiot, and I think I commented on my own thing with my own name. I don't remember what I did. But anyway, do you think a lot of people, which I know, everybody I know that's in I guess my world has a fake burner. You can call it a burner or fake Instagram because they don't want people to see them. Is that normal?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all you had to say.
Even if you're not a public figure,
I used to have one.
I'd say the majority of people absolutely do. And Janet Caperna actually said it perfectly. And I'm trying to remember where she said it. Could it have been the after show? She said, everybody has a Finsta, right? Because let's say someone has you blocked, you want to be able to see the story. But it's something like you have, what was the term she used? Like you look, but you don't touch.
Right. You don't
and you don't actually comment. And I 100% agree. So the fact that you
because
commented.
I'm blocked on, I know.
and you did.
I feel like that was just an oopsie.
It was an oopsie. And like, sometimes I'm blocked on a lot of things. So I want to scope out and see what they're saying about me. It's such a cringe thing that I did. And I was just so like, and I wanted to put something in there and I obviously fucked it up. Yeah.
Okay. So not an oopsie.
No. And then I also said something else that kind of goes along with what I'm saying today because I'm not trying to come off as like misogynistic at all. So I also said on the episode, a woman doesn't need a large home like this. I didn't mean to say a woman. I was talking about Brittany in the moment. Any person, I don't care who you are, in my opinion, doesn't need a home that was the size of ours when it's just you. I think because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we're getting a divorce. We got to start setting back. We got to, get something a little smaller. I want her and my son to have a home that's a little bit more manageable. The overhead in our home is insane. Just the overhead to live.
Power, water, all the things.
It's like power, water, landscaping, all this. And like half the house she doesn't even use, in my opinion. So I was like, why don't you sell the house, get the money out of that equity, whatever you got into it, buy something a little bit smaller for you and Cruz that's manageable. That's what I meant by that. So whoever's listening to this, it wasn't a misogynistic thing. It was basically who needs, if I was living in that home, I would be like, we're getting rid of this house right now. The reason we bought that huge home is because we thought we were going to fill it with kids. 5 bedrooms and 7 bath house for one person, I think is a little bit too big when you're by yourself.
I think you hit it right there, though. I think if I could give you another piece of unsolicited advice, you should try for the next week or just the future in general to frame every conversation that you have from you and your life. So instead of saying a woman doesn't need, just be like, Brittany doesn't need that. Specific to your situation, because it is your situation, and that's what you're saying.
But if I say that,
now.
then I'm kind of saying what she's going to be like. What do you know what I need?
But you're speaking for, it's better that than it is to generalize.
I know,
all of that.
I was so triggered. I was so angry in the moment, and I was going like this. I'm like, what woman needs this? Like, I didn't mean it as a female thing. Yeah. I was just more like at her, and I meant to say I would have said Brittany in the moment. You're right.
Yeah.
I just was like, what woman needs this much? Like this much thing. I'm like, condense, live in, save the money. We have a son that needs to go to college and all this. Mm-hmm. Take the money out of the house and get something manageable. That's all I meant by that, and I hope people understand that. Yeah, so that's what I meant by that. Did you watch What Happens Live when I was on it? I
did not. I saw a clip of it. I was watching a clip of it yesterday.
It was very, very, I was dreading Lori sitting here. She's like, I knew going in I was going to get lit on fire. I knew, and it was really, really rough. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I knew I was going to get raked over the coals. It was nice to have Tom Schwartz with me, kind of next to me. It's nice to have your best friend there. But yeah, it was definitely well-deserved, and people have a lot of questions, and I get it. And people don't understand, this show is not shot in real time. I've said it a million times. And you're watching, a lot of my downfall was when I was using, and a lot of my anger. I wasn't on medication then. And, trying to, not justifying my actions at all, but I'm just trying to show you where I was at that moment and why I was so livid. People just don't see. You're watching a show that's cut down, it's condensed. You're not seeing the full thing. And yeah, the way I handled things was completely wrong. My feelings were valid. I've said this many times. I just didn't handle it the right way because I was so angry. And I don't know why I was angry, because I wanted out of the marriage just as much as Brittany did. And again, it comes back to control. I couldn't control the situation. Do you agree? Lori, you were there. Watch What Happens Live. How did you think it went?
I think it went exactly how I expected it to go. I didn't think that anybody wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, and no matter what I say right now, nobody gives a shit what I say right now. Nobody's going to believe what I say right now. So it's just kind of like I'm just laying low and just kind of working on myself, because right now it just doesn't feel right to be going out and talking about anything right now. It really just doesn't. I just got to let things kind of smooth over for a while, and just kind of, my most important thing right now is just making things right with Brittany and getting to a point where, we could be amicable and good co-parents, I think,
What about that new Twitter handle?
Oh my gosh.
I sent it to you.
Justice for
night.
Jax. Okay, let me just make this clear, and Lori, you're here to verify. I do not have a fake Instagram or Twitter.
Well, yes, you do have a fake Instagram.
Not anymore, because everybody knows about it now, so it's not fake anymore. So guess what? The burner account is gone, so you don't need to follow Frank Drummond anymore, people. I am not on it. The account is gone.
Well, we put it on private, and there are so many friend requests. You have no idea.
Maybe I'll use it for another account. Maybe I'll use it for I don't know. We'll keep it. But I'm just letting you know I'm not doing anything with that account, so don't even go on it. But there is an account on Twitter, which I'm rarely even on anymore. It's called @_Justice4Jax. I have no part of that whatsoever. Lori saw it the other day, and she's like, this is going viral. And
yeah,
there's AI pictures of me.
So I knew right away. I mean, I always question, is that him? Because it's possible. Anything's possible with Jax, right? But just the way the wording is not him at all.
Yeah. What are some of the things being posted?
They're really standing up for me, which is really nice. I mean, reading it, it's like, first of all, if you know me, I'm not articulate. I'm not wordy. And there's the words that are being used, they're not in my vocabulary. So people know right off the bat. If you know me, no, he's not using that word.
With Jax, it's a dead giveaway, because he's a terrible speller, and I've never there's bad spelling, and then there's Jack's way of spelling things, because nobody else that I know is K-N-O-W.
I know it's
but
K-N-O-W.
he doesn't know the difference between N-O and K-N-O.
I'm in a hurry writing it.
He spells it K-N-O-W-B-O-D-Y instead of
I'm in a hurry, and it's not grammar checking me.
It's either a hurry or his fingers are too big.
My fingers are too big, and I'm typing. It's not grammar checking me, and sometimes your phone just automatically
this Twitter is absolutely, it's not me, it's not Jax.
It looks like a ChatGPT kind of the way it's written sometimes.
Well, the photos, the AI photos are
spot on.
Right?
Spot on, minus the tattoos.
Did you see the lawnmower one?
Yes. I mean, it looks just like me.
It's
fucking crazy.
Someone's putting in a lot of work there. And then another social platform on Facebook. I can't remember the name of it, but the person that runs it, name is Emmanuel, and they always are asking, they think it's Jax. And I've looked at his Twitter, I've looked at his Facebook, I have access to his Instagram. He is not affiliated with any of those. So
I'm not even on
Emmanuel
social media
is
right
not
now.
Jax.
Yeah, I feel like you're on a hiatus.
No, I'm on a hiatus
minus
right
the
now.
burner.
Minus my. Well, no, I don't even now. The burner's not now. I'm on a hiatus. I don't really know when I'm going to come back. Maybe after this season, but I'm really enjoying not being on social media right now. I kind of turn my head to everything right now. I just don't think it's healthy for me to be on social media right now. And I think talking it over with Lori and Ryan, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me to. It's just not good for my mental health to see these comments. And I see my friends on the show getting some really, really hurtful comments. And, let me make this clear. A lot of people are doing this on all reality shows. I don't know if you guys watch, obviously everyone's watching Love Island. Ariana had to get out and do a disclaimer on people being mean and going after their families, going after their friends. These people don't even have phones to defend themselves.
They're going to come out of there and see all this.
And they're going to come out of there. The fact that she had to get on, did you see it? And say, listen, people, before I start the show, please stop being hurtful to people. And this goes on all reality TV shows. We are there to entertain you guys. It's entertainment TV. Okay? We're not there for any other reason. So if you don't like somebody, don't fucking watch. And I hate to use the F word, but don't watch. Why do you go after people that you don't even know? And not only go after, say, oh my God, you shouldn't have done this. People are going for the throat. You should die, kill your, who says stuff like that? That's insane.
Meanwhile, everyone wants the villain. The villain is what, the only reason reality TV is successful is because of the drama created by the villain.
And I say this all the time. Do you want us to sit in the corner and braid each other's hair? Because then the show gets canceled. Do you want us to go crazy?
You have to come up with new lines.
Like, if you sit around and do nothing, you're scolded for that. If you go too crazy, you're scolded for that. Like, what do you freaking people want?
The person that Ariana was speaking up for the most when she made that disclaimer was voted by America to be saved and stay on the island, because that's how much people love her, because of how much they love watching the chaos around her. Okay. So it's like, it's confusing because people have so much to say about the behavior, and I do think the behavior does need to be recognized. Obviously, I don't think anyone should just be accepting bad behavior.
They should fix this.
It's concerning. But I also am just like, this is what, literally the proof is in the pudding. This is what is being voted to continue going on. Meanwhile, last week, everyone's posting like, she needs to be taken off the island. Like, let's get her off the island. And then they're doxing her. They're posting her address. They're talking about her child. Like, there's so much out there. It's horrible. Meanwhile, people are voting for her to stay.
But
so it's very confusing.
This goes to show you this happens with all reality shows. It doesn't matter. People just like to go out there and they just say the meanest things. And it's like, we're not like... Everybody goes through this stuff. Our lives are just on TV, and people just poke and prod and say things that are just, it's okay to not like somebody, but Jesus, going after their family and friends and their kids, absolutely disgusting. And I'm assuming the last show you binge watched, you're watching right now?
I had the stomach flu last week, so I've never watched Love Island in my life, and I watched 13 episodes in one day.
Nice. We had the winners on from last year. We had on the podcast. We had Marco and I haven't forget her name, but we had on such a lovely couple. I love having them on. We'll have the winners on.
I've never watched an episode of Love Island.
I literally just started because everyone was talking about it so much, and I was like, I'm definitely not going to watch all of the episodes. I don't have the time for that. There's like 50 per season. It's insane. Yeah. But last week was like, okay, I can't hang out with my friends because I have nothing to talk about. What do I watch?
All her clients. She represents a lot of people from The Bachelor and pretty much a lot of reality shows now. And
like Love is Blind. And
it's the last thing you want to do when you're in this world is watch reality TV.
Of course.
So you're back doing your podcast again, and what is it called one more time?
Trying to Figure It Out.
Trying to Figure It Out. I'm so happy that you came on here. It was really nice. I'd love to have you back again on different topics. I think we covered a lot today, and we had a lot of fun. And Lori, thank you so much for adding your 2 cents per usual. And
are you sure?
No, yeah, of course. I love having you on.
I will say, I know that people have a lot to say right now, and talking to you both times I've talked to you, I feel like I've had a unique experience, and I feel like you have been very open with me. So I just hope that you're gentle with yourself, because just because you signed up for the life that you've signed up for doesn't mean that it's not hard to see comments, hear things. And I do think you have growth to do, but I do think that you've also grown a lot, and I think I've seen that from you. And I think that you being willing to have these conversations, you being willing to hear both of us say what we think when you say something that we don't agree with, it's all positive things. And I think that you're on a path to really finding peace within yourself and continuing to be happy.
Thank you. That really that means a lot, because I go through a lot. I'm going through a lot right now, and like I said, if I'm being honest, I don't think I'm happy right now, but I'm not sad. I'm at the point where life hurts me, but then it also doesn't hurt. I wake up happy and I'm ready for the day, but as the day goes by, sometimes my happiness fades away, and then I go back home and then I'm in bed and I'm drowning in my own thoughts. It's up and down right now, and sometimes I don't even know how I feel right now. It's just, it's really, really, it's interesting. But you know what? Like I said, I'm getting the help that I need, and I'm learning a lot about myself later in life. I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I would have got a medication sooner. I wish I was a better husband, but the only thing I can do now is just move forward. So
yeah, next time you're sad, tell someone you're sad.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying. Like I said, like the AA and the therapy help a lot, and I hate missing it. But anyway, so wait, one more time, where can we find your podcast?
On pretty much everywhere you can get podcasts, but if you want to watch it, go to YouTube. That's where we prefer people to watch.
Okay,
YouTube,
any other shout outs you got going on?
Just podcasting, honestly, and I've been really going ham on TikTok, trying to post videos every day, and it's brutal.
What's your TikTok?
My TikTok is just my name, Ali Petitti.
All right, so let's end it here. It was a long episode, a really good episode, and I'm happy you came here. So we'll end it right here. Thank you guys for tuning in this week.
Thank you so much.
I'm Jax. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Ali. And we'll see you next week on In the Mind of Jax Taylor.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.